Hey guys, today I'm going to be discussing Bearded Dragon, or at least baby Bearded Dragon Karen Cost. So let's get started. Oh, and first I'd like to apologize if this video is shaky or if it sounds weird. My voice, I just got my braces off and I just can't stand still for a very while. So I'm gonna get started. And another disclaimer, his cage is a little dirty, so I need to clean it. So anyways, I'm going to introduce you to my bearded dragon. This is Rocky. I have 3 adults downstairs, but this is my juvenile, so I'm going to be doing baby bearded dragon care because that's one of the most asked questions. So first off, I'm going to get started with housing. The first thing you're probably going to be thinking about is getting a baby, and for their cages you need a 20-gallon, because if you get a 10-gallon when they're babies, they're going to outgrow that very quickly. So I just have a 20-gallon long, which he's actually outgrowing, and he's going to be moved up to a 40-gallon very soon. And yeah, I have a 20 long, and when he gets to be about 6 months old, he's going to need a 40-gallon. He's actually only 3 months old. He just grows really quickly. So yeah. And as far as what goes in the housing, you put the cool, on the cool side you have a water dish and a hide, which he doesn't use that as a hide, but it's whatever. And in the basking side, you need of course a basking spot that gets pretty close to the heating source and lighting source, which I'll talk about in a second. And he needs his food, his vegetable dish, because I just like to put it over the warm side, not so much the basking spot, but it just helps it grow, stay alive more. And on the subject of heating and lighting, I keep him on a 150 watt intense bulb, and this is the packaging, just 100 watt. And for as UVB goes, I use a 10.0 desert strip for him, because babies, it's sometimes more important than adults because they're growing, and yeah. And anywhere from 90 to 100 watts is good. Don't make more than 100 watt for a baby because they're just going to burn up. And, I mean, you can do 150 if the basking spot's lower, but yeah. Just, he really decides if he wants to be close or not, so. And, you need a thermometer, which right now I just put it in a second ago because it had fingerprints all over it, so I had to clean it. So it's saying 80, but up there it's like 95. So I was going to discuss temperatures. For babies, you want to make it a little cooler, like anywhere from 95 to 110-ish. For adults, 100 to 115. 115 is really hot, and it's kind of risking it, so I wouldn't go more than 110. And yeah. As they are desert animals, they do not need as much humidity as you would think. I actually have just a water dish, and I spray only the lizard one time a day. I do not spray the habitat. He's really healthy, and I give him baths once a week, which I'll get to in a second. That's how he gets his hydration. And of course, I'm going to be speaking about food, which is how he also gets his hydration. So as far as food goes, I feed him. I put in a vegetable bowl once a day, which he gnaws through, and like I was saying, I just put all of his stuff in. And so, he's already bit it a little bit. As you can see, some of the food is messed up. And he gets, speaking of his daily salad, you should never feed them iceberg lettuce, or like any kind of lettuce, really. So in his food that I just bought him, it has like collard greens, kale, and yeah, some spices, some like herbs and stuff. So he gets that on a daily basis. It's also good to put squash, sometimes tomatoes, carrots. I maybe once a month will give him banana as like a treat. So, yep. And as far as insects go, superworms are a little big, but I mean, I feed him a tiny bit of them. I mean, these are for my adults. But he loves superworms when he does get them. And as for a bearded dragon this side, he is on large crickets. The best thing, the rule of thumb, is the space between their head is something he can eat. The space between their like eyes and a little bit further's okay. Oh, and back on the subject of vegetables, blueberries are really good. And as you can see, there's a calcium. I put this calcium, it's very important, and I put it on his food every other day. So today's calcium on crickets, but not calcium on vegetables. So every other day I put it on crickets or vegetables. So that's what I'm going to start doing. So I've started a little bit. So he's falling asleep right now. Okay, so that's feeding down. And as far as cleaning the cage, I clean mine whenever it just gets messy. It really doesn't, but he poops a ton. So I recommend ReptiCarpet above anything else. For adults, it's okay to have sand, but it can push dangerous. For the babies, always use ReptiCarpet. It's better than anything else. Don't use sand, it causes impaction, which is when he eats his crickets to strike at them, the sand gets in his mouth and eventually it'll get into his stomach and it pops in his stomach and he can't eat anything and he'll just have a very slow, saddening death. So, and I've had a leopard gecko like that, and I'm not going to get into detail because it was very sad. It took about 2 or 3 weeks to finally die, and it was so sad. And so for cleaning, I just use Flukers. I just kind of spray it down. You don't want to use anything strong, and it always has to be organic. So just no dish soap, maybe a little bit of, like, a lot of people use like vinegar as vinegar and water solutions, and you just want to make sure you're drying out everything. And yes, I clean the glass and stuff, and that is basically how to take care of a baby bearded dragon. You want to make sure you're not getting it from PetSmart or Petco or any big pet store like that. I recommend Breeders or Craigslist, even because a lot of pets out there need rescues. So, yep, that's it. Oh, one more thing about the food. You want to make sure 80% of his diet is going to be crickets and 20% vegetables. So, and then when they're adults, you just flip-flop that. So, yep, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.